What's up, you guys? Your boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC, man. And hope you guys have been having a good day off on this President's Day, whatever. It's been kind of cold out, in Minnesota, man, and it's not going to get any better. But hopefully, it'll start to warm up, later on this week, man. I hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day. Enjoyed with your wife, with your girlfriend, and all that good stuff, though, man. And we're going to keep on pushing, baby. So I wanted to basically talk about something that has really been getting my attention, and this reflects on basically the media double standard when it comes to the whole Chad Wheeler situation that's been going on here. So for those of y'all that don't know, I think a few weeks ago or maybe last month or whatever, Chad Wheeler was basically arrested for beating the hell out of his fiance, who is a black woman, by the way. And if you saw the pictures on TMC, you would just be horrified at the injuries that this woman went through, man. And you know, so it's kind of funny that there was only very little media coverage about this whole thing here. And this is the kind of the subject I wanted to get on here. But really, this is relates to an article that I actually popped this up when I was actually researching about this. There was actually an opinionated article by the inscribermag.com, by the inscriber and digital magazine.com, okay, by the name of Stephen Risnick, okay, and he basically wrote an opinionated article trying to basically deflect to the fact that there's no media double standard when it comes to Chad Wheeler in relation to all the other incidents involving Ray Rice, Greg Hardy, Tyreek Hill, and Kareem Hunt. And I immediately shook my head and just like disgust. And there was a lot of ignorant details in that piece that really disturbed me. But one of the things that really found it disgusting is when he pretty much said in the opening lead to the article, when he said, "I find it sad, yet it takes attention away from the actual story when it comes to the rest of former Seahawks offensive linemen. Instead of focusing on the heinous crime of the conversation, it's become race issues and double standards of the media. And so far, I've seen the examples of Ray Rice, Greg Hardy, Tyreek Hill, and Kareem Hunt." Now, I'm not going to go into all the details, but I will post the link to the article in the description box if you want to, read for it for yourself. But one of the things that in the opinionated article that really got my attention here, um, one of the things that really tripped me out was is that when he was talking about the whole the whole Greg Hardy situation. Now, Greg Hardy is a scumbag human being. I'm not going to go into further details about what he did. Y'all know that. You can research it for yourself. But when he talked about how that, in the opinion, the Greg Hardy story didn't even come close to getting the national attention it deserved, and reportedly the only reason the case got dismissed is because Vince didn't want to go through it and have another child or have to relive the events, whatever. And I'm sitting there like, bro, did you watch what was going on in ESPN and Fox Sports? Did you watch what was going on when the story when the story hit the fan? All right. There was so much coverage on that story every single night. All right. Every single morning that I had to watch First Take or Undisputed, they took the opportunity to basically talk about this whole case every single time. And literally, I could pretty much say that they were trying to push the victim to try to pursue, pressing charges and going through the whole process. But she didn't want to do it because she was too traumatized of the whole experience and didn't want to deal with it again. And I could understand, sympathetically what she was basically going through at that time from a sympathetic point of view. But if from a person that say it's basically a Me Too type of person, you would say, well, why go all the way? You can't be afraid of your abuser and all that other stuff. And they're ignorant to the fact that, listen, these victims are not you. All right, if you have not been in their shoes, what gives you the right to say that they need to go through this all the way and all that other stuff? All right, that's where I find it, very very ignorant. Now, the other one was what tripped me out was is that the Ray Rice thing. Okay, now I will admit one thing that the NFL didn't do their due diligence to really research on the whole investigation, but to try to link it in a way where the but basically in a way where the NFL where basically the Ravens still try to defend him and all that other stuff. Like, bro, what are you looking at? You're basically trying to say like that the whole coverage of Ray Rice didn't get enough as it should. Like, Are you serious, man? That story, when that story hit the fan, when TMZ released the tape of when Ray Rice knocked out Janae Rice in that elevator, it was a firestorm that went on for months. They basically did a smear campaign to make sure that Ray Rice never get another opportunity to play in the NFL ever again. All right, and also salute to him. He was able to turn his life around, and they were able to save their marriage, and they're living a happy life right now. So salute to them. But I can remember weeks on end, almost months on end, where that story just kept flaming and flaming, and it basically fed into the narrative of the whole Me Too narrative. All right, but when it comes to all these other relations, there is a major double standard here. You know why? It's because it was involving a white athlete who assaulted a black woman. All right, there is your media double standard right then and there. Okay, and the fact that this story has not been smeared into the wall like all the others is a crime in of itself. All right. Now, I do agree that the victim should have had much more limelight of what she went through that horrible experience. But the thing that really tripped me out was that how a lot of these reporters and a lot of these analysts that basically had this story right in front of their laps really took way too much time of basically expressing the details of this the 2 days after the story was already initially released. All right, and if you looked at the picture of the Wheeler's, ex fiance, whatever, and how she was beaten up, the pictures would disturb you. All right, it was very disturbing. It looked like she was. It looked like she was fighting for her life. This man was trying to kill her, and you notice how they're trying to implicate mental illness and all that other stuff. Bro, that is a direct insult to all the people in our society that are going through current medical issues and mental health issues as we're speaking right now. You understand what I'm saying? Jermaine Taylor, a former boxer, is going through all sorts of lots of mental issues doing because of his punishment that he went through during his boxing career. And yet nobody talks about that. They only talk about the crimes that he committed in relating to what he was going through in his boxing career. All right. And also another thing, and also relation to the NFL. You want to talk about smearing those four athletes into the mud. What was y'all energy at when basically Ben Roethlisberger was basically raping women almost 5 to 6 years ago? And the guy was supposed to be on trial for basically raping and doing all this horrific stuff back in 2008 and 2010. You know what I'm saying? And basically all those cases that got settled out of court. All right, how they basically try to cover it up and sweep it under the rug. And yet Ben Roethlisberger is still able to play in the NFL, and he's gonna go into the Hall of Fame. I mean, literally, where is your energy when it came to that whole thing? So that article, I literally was reading it, and it just really disgusted me. Like, bro, you're not seeing what we're seeing because you're looking at it from a blind perspective. All right, if you're a black athlete and you're basically under a microscope of everything you do and everything that happens outside of your sport, you are basically subject to all sorts of scrutiny, whether it's deserved or undeserved. All right. You don't get those kind of benefit of the doubts if you're a white athlete. And right now, what I'm seeing with the whole Chad Wheeler thing is, it looks like that this guy is getting some sort of little bit of some sympathy, and he should never deserve it. All right. This man literally tried to kill his own wife for whatever reason that he had in his head. And I don't want to excuse that at all. I'm gonna make it a personal mission to make sure that this guy gets all the bad shit that he deserves. All right. And the fact that there are certain players there are players in the NFL that's saying that the NFL is not doing a smear campaign on this guy should let you know what time it is. All right. You still have a quarterback that basically just won the Super Bowl who is friends with the former commander in chief that just got acquitted of the second impeachment, and yet nobody shows that same energy to him. All right. So I hope I hope I'm making it clear to you guys. You got to be careful when it comes to this whole thing here because if you're not informed, if you don't read all the details and all the information that happened in certain cases like this, you get lost and you can fall into the propaganda of what mass media is trying to push down your throat. This is one of the reasons why I've stopped watching Fox Sports. I stopped watching ESPN and all that other debate shows. and only watching for just the actual sports. That's just pretty much it. All right. When it comes to all the other propagandic stuff that they've tried to force on us, I just don't even bother watching it because why do I need to waste my time being stupider to them? All right. So the point I'm making is this story is trying to be swept under the rug. And if you're so-called Me Too and you're for women's rights or feminist rights or whatever, you need to go at it with the same vitriol and the same fire that you did to those other athletes that I named. All right. But I guarantee you, I bet you, you know what? I'll bet you one thing. If this gets when this thing gets swept under the rug, I'm not going to say if, it's only going to be a matter of when. When this thing gets swept under the rug, I bet you there'll be one NFL team or maybe possible other teams that are going to take a chance on dealing with this man. And you know that the media circus of it is going to come. But they're probably going to give him somewhat of a pass because of the color of his skin. I mean, come on. It's it's literally it's literally right in front of your face. We're too much aware of this at this particular point in our society. So the person who wrote that opinionated article, just cut the shit, bro. Just cut the damn shit. All right. You know it's there. You just don't want to acknowledge it. So that's just my 2 cents. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.